everything else. He basically fields them all, vets the customer, makes sure that they're actually like legitimately wanting a barn instead of like a chicken coop or something ridiculous.
This is Rachel Allison here on the Stay Positive podcast. I'm joined by Austin Christian, owner of The Barn Store. Welcome, Austin.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have Austin on here today because not only is he a partner of Stay Positive News, but he's also one of my best friends.
Yeah, long time.
We'll get into that history here in a moment. But I wrangled Austin onto this podcast because I think he has a lot of great things to say about positivity.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be as positive as I can be. I think I tend to be a positive person in general, so I think I can handle it.
I agree with that. The also funny thing is that Austin is my first podcast guest who has requested that we have absolutely no script for this podcast. So we're going to just see how it goes today.
Yeah, just I think if there's too much of a script, it gets too difficult. And I dropped out of college because of public speaking, so if I can wing it and just have a conversation, it should be easier.
I love that. So let's talk about that for a second. You dropped out of college.
It's not very positive, but I guess it could have turned into a positive because it was the reason that we started the barn store. But I went to UT Chattanooga for 3 years, and after 3 years, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I was there for business entrepreneurship. Didn't really feel like I needed a degree to put in my own office to start my own business. So I called my dad, Jeff Christian, and said, "Hey, I'm wasting your money and my time. I'm going to come home." He said, "Well, you better get a job and find a place to live." And that's what I did. And fast forward a year and a half, 2 years later, we started the barn store, and the rest is history.
Did you always know that your business was going to be barns?
No, I think I've always kind of had just this general knack for just understanding how things are put together. So like working on dirt bikes and just doing things out in the woods, just naturally able to kind of put things together and then work. Also had a strength in math. It was one of my best subjects in school. So
that's one of my worst, by the way.
That's all right. So construction kind of fit because there's a combination of, you have to use a lot of math, and I was decent at it, and I knew how to build stuff. So relied a lot on Dad as a resource to teach me the barn business because he had a previous business in that. And it just worked out really, really well.
So I would say that's definitely a positive thing because you had an opportunity to jumpstart this business.
Yep.
And look how successful you are now.
Well, I mean, just the ability to fast forward through all of the mistakes that Dad had already made in his previous business as he took it from a startup to a very successful business in just 7 years. We basically were able to just skip over those mistakes and not make them. And it propelled us just crazy fast from 2015 to 2023, we almost doubled, if not tripled, in revenue every single year. So it's been wild. Yeah. But I have a big shout out to my dad. He's very, very crucial in that because, like I said, we just didn't have to make those same mistakes. So that was cool.
So tell us, for our listeners, real quick, what kind of barns do you build?
That's a tough question. The term barn is it can just cover so much. I mean, whenever we advertise, at the end of the day, we look at them all as if they're barns, and that barn term came from the actual type of structures that they are. The more technical term for them is diaphragm structures, using a series of columns and horizontal lathing and engineered structural steel to create an actual unit or a product. but we can build these diaphragm structures or post frame buildings or barns, as you want to call them, as garages, wedding venues. The term that I think everybody knows is barndominium. Unfortunately, nobody knows how to spell it, including myself. So we get a new spelling about every single day. So barndominiums, if anybody's got an idea on how you spell that, we'd love the actual correct way. So barndominiums, shop houses, warehouses, industrial space. We've built churches. We've built CrossFit gyms. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But I'd say our majority of our business is going to be for like a 2-car garage, 3-car garage, primarily for storing, toys and, man caves, she sheds. If anybody else is interested in podcasting, we've done buildings where we section out a room and have like a backdrop and set somebody up for a podcast, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, there's unlimited usability for them. So.
Yeah. And you're building one right now for an artist who's going to use it as a sound studio, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We did, and also a basketball court. So we've done multiple facilities that have, say, basketball courts or hitting cages for baseball. I mean, just it's crazy. The list goes on and on and on. But yeah, musicians like them as writing studios, in-law suites. Yeah, I mean, we could probably talk for the entire 30 minutes or however long we're going to talk about what different people have used them for.
Oh, I didn't tell you this is like a 2-hour podcast. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I've only got 45 minutes, so we got to squeeze it in. No, I'm just kidding.
Cancel your day. So I want to fast forward. We've been great friends for, gosh, how long now? 13 years? I pretty much met you as soon as I met Jonathan, my husband.
I didn't think we would skip through that or fast forward through that. That's a good long conversation. Oh, man. Yeah, so I've known Jonathan, your husband, for, I guess, probably going on 16 years. Obviously, he's a best friend of mine. I think you came into the picture in what?
2013.
2013, yeah. So 10 years, going on a decade.
Hoo-wee. Yeah. 10 years of friendship, going strong.
Try to mark the day that we've been friends longer than we haven't been friends. I think I'm going to do that with my wife.
Well, I always tease your wife that I've known you longer, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember when she came into the picture. That was fun.
That's true, yeah.
Love her. Shout out to you, Chelsea. So you knew that I was starting this business, Stay Positive News, with a couple of business partners. You were one of the first phone calls I made to see if you would be interested in partnering with us. What was your thought when I first came to you with the idea of Stay Positive News and how we could involve the barn store in it?
Whether I was involved or not, I mean, I don't want to get into politics, but I think that the world in general is naturally seeking for something that's just more positive. I mean, you turn on the news right now and it's just constant negativity. And to the point where it's, for me personally, I've gotten to the point where I won't even watch, local news or federal news or any of that stuff. It just drags you down. And like I said, I try to be a positive person, and I just don't want to start my day or end my day with negativity. So the idea of the Stay Positive News is, for me, automatically was like, hey, this is something that we need, not necessarily like and only just in like a small community or in just a couple counties. I mean, I think it's something that should be across the nation, that everybody should really get into. And I think people look at it as a breath of fresh air. And for me, being somebody who's so down on like day-to-day local broadcasts and news, it's like, I mean, yeah, we needed something like this. So I wanted to be a part of it automatically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you are. It's funny that you mentioned you don't watch the news, because I don't either.
Yeah.
I learned this fact the other day. Do you know watching too much news can actually give you a heart attack?
Well, I mean, I think anything can give you a heart attack these days. So, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm sure there's some sort of a stat out there that says that, but Yeah, I mean, yeah, anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it.
I mean, there's that. That's obviously worst case scenario, but yeah, more anxiety, more stress.
Yeah.
Because they're saying news over and over just to make you hooked into watching it more and more. I think of a certain family member, all they do is watch the news, and they are constantly stressed out. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
you need more stay positive news in your life.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is what I thought would be fun for
Okay.
us to do.
Can we play a game? Are we playing a game?
Yeah, we'll play a game.
All right, cool.
This is a list online that I found of positive habits that positive people do. So I think we should go through this list and see which ones you do
Okay.
and how you feel about them.
Okay.
So first one is start a gratitude journal. Have you ever done anything like that?
I definitely have not ever done that. I've done journals, like faith journals, that relate to like Bible studies and things like that. But in terms of just a personal journal, I'm not a very great writer. I'm also not a incredibly emotional person, and journaling, I think, is something that you have to be pretty vulnerable whenever you're doing something like that. And just, not necessarily a super vulnerable person. I know that there's benefits to it in terms of my the ones that I do with Bible study and things like that, but for just writing down feelings or things that are going on in my day-to-day life, don't necessarily do anything like that.
I mean, I don't keep a gratitude journal either, and I do love writing, so I don't think,
Well, maybe you should start.
Maybe I should. I feel like this list is like, it's not all encompassing, it's not like you're not a positive person just because you don't have a gratitude journal, but I do see the value in like taking time to reflect what you are thankful for, what you are grateful for.
Yeah, which there's a ton of that. I mean, I could go on and on about that. But at the same time, as you know, like with 2 kids and, the business and extracurricular activities and our friend group as close as we are and as much as we hang out, like, not a whole lot of time in the day for it either.
Yeah. I'm thinking about that time when we had you guys over our house for dinner, and we had some of our other friends too, and we all sat down at the dinner table, kids, grown-ups, everybody, which we don't always do because, sometimes we feed the kids first so we can have a nice relaxing meal.
Right.
And I said, let's all go around the table and say something
we're thankful for.
And I'm laughing because your son said something pretty funny that day. But I think, like, just for example, using that as an example, sitting around the dinner table with friends, it was really cool to hear everybody's answer of what they were grateful for.
Yeah. Most of the kids were thankful for something a little bit short-sighted, like the chicken nuggets that were in front of them, which was good. My son was probably thankful for our chickens or something because I don't know, we live in the Cottontown side of Gallatin, but you'd think he lived in, 600 miles off the grid the way he talks. But,
yeah.
There's no telling what he said.
All right, number 2 on the list. This one's kind of girly. I don't know what you're going to think, but it's treat yourself to some self-care every day. Self-care. Do you do that?
Just for my beard, which, just beard oil. I guess is that self-care? I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm trying to relate that now. Like, why is that on the list?
Well, I guess the
self-care.
gym would be self-care.
Yeah.
Going to the gym every day is a self-care kind of thing. You're obviously taking care of yourself health-wise.
So why does that make you a positive person?
I think there's chemical stuff associated with that. In terms of exercise, there's certain hormones that get released whenever you exercise that help with positivity and I think having a better day-to-day outlook on life. So
I do agree.
I think that's chemical or maybe scientific. I'm a barn builder, everybody. Just keep that in mind. I'm not a scientist or doctor, so I don't know, but I think there's some stuff behind that.
Well, my friend John at Fitness 1440 will tell you when you're working out and you get those endorphins pumping, that really chemically does kind of alter your brain as far as putting you in a good mood. So I guess maybe when you're in a good mood, you're apt to be more positive. Mm-hmm. This one, avoid spreading gossip.
Oh, yes, please.
It's hard not to, though.
Is it?
I think you could look at this 2 ways. There's people out there who intentionally go and blab their mouths to intentionally put somebody down, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also those situations when you're hanging out with your friends and you're like, oh, did you hear about this? Did
Yeah.
you hear about that? Because technically that's gossip too, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I find myself kind of in those friend-to-friend situations where it's
You
like,
think your viral video that you had would have been considered gossip?
it could have, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Austin made one of my TikTok videos go viral. I had made my friend's cottage cheese cookie dough, and
It was not great.
I told them it was cottage cheese cookie dough, and then I let them all try it and rate it. And Austin's response the entire video was hilarious and not positive.
Yeah, don't go watch that video.
Go watch that video, Real Life with Rach. I'm just kidding. But
Gosh.
all in good fun, for sure.
Yeah.
He was a little negative Nancy, but it made it go viral. So
No place for gossip, to answer that question. I guess there's no place for it. Not a huge fan. People that work for me too, they know how I feel about gossip. We actually have it built into our culture that we just simply don't do it. It's so toxic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely out.
Oh, for sure. In a workplace, that can get dangerous.
Yep.
Within friend groups. Mm-hmm. Just talk about the positive stuff. Don't worry about the negative.
Yep.
Next one, crack more jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm game for that.
Yeah, me too.
I think everybody in our friend group are just jokesters, and we have a good time for sure. Lots of jokes, lots of funny people.
Yeah.
All class clowns for sure.
Yeah. I think laughter is so important, because you need real joy to spark kind of the wanting to spread of positivity.
Yeah.
So why not do it by laughter?
Yep.
Have something to look forward to after work is on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, again, like I've got two boys, one's 4 and one's 2, an amazing wife. So it's easy to have something to look forward to after work. And I would say that I'm a firm believer in, work hard during work hours, but also play hard during play hours. And, for me, it's easy, and I know that a lot of business owners struggle with this, and I wish that there was some sort of potion that existed to say, hey, this is how you do it. I'm very blessed to be able to say that I'm able to shut work off. So whenever I'm not at work, I'm not at work. Whenever I'm at work, I'm there, like I'm in it, and I'm ready to rock. But as soon as that switch clicks off, it's over. And I'm at home, and I've got obviously my wife and kids to look forward to. Plus we've just got all kinds of stuff at the house that, it's constantly needs to get done, and other hobbies, and again, our friend group, we're very close with our friend group, and all those things are important to us. So I've always said that you spend the majority of your time throughout the day with people at work, and just surrounding yourself with people at work that you want to be around is as important as the other stuff. And because you're with those people more than you are your family, Monday through Friday. So you need to at least enjoy it. But at the same time, obviously, you have those other things to look forward to whenever you get home.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
definitely have to have that for sure.
Absolutely. I love that that's what you look forward to is your family.
Yeah.
Another one is focus on the long term instead of the short term. I see this being very effective for positivity.
Yeah, I'd say it's super easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. Like if you get locked in on each challenge that you run into, or just like the day-to-day stresses of being either an employee or an entrepreneur or whatever you are in your day-to-day, like getting caught up in the little stuff. You hear the cliche term, like, don't sweat the little things. Unfortunately, it's become cliche. Like, I wish it wasn't, because in reality, like, sweating those little things can get in the way of a lot of other things. I'm also too, just, I guess the way I'm wired, more of a broad strokes kind of long-term thinker than I am a in the moment kind of thinker.
Yeah. I am so guilty of this. Something goes wrong and then something else goes wrong. And it's like once a couple things kind of pile up, my immediate reaction is like, ugh.
The trickle-down effect.
The world is falling apart and everything. I'm doing terrible at everything. And that's not the truth. Look at the big picture. Look at all the wonderful things you are doing. Look at all the
Yep.
things that went right. 3 things went wrong. Look at the
Yeah.
100 things that went right today. I think that's
Which the nature of the beast is, and like as a general contractor, I mean, that's our job. I mean, if it's to solve problems. So it's our day to day. Like, I think what makes us different than the next guy is not necessarily that we don't have problems or that we're perfect every time, because we're not. But it's not necessarily, you know, how many problems you have. It's how you solve the problem whenever the problem comes up. And that's, I think, one of the areas that we separate ourselves pretty drastically from everybody else, is we're really good at solving those problems. But, you know, at the end of the day, if those problems didn't come up and they didn't need somebody to solve them, then there would be no purpose for general contractors. So, you know, it's easy to get caught up in those things. But as a general contractor, you literally can't do that. You can't get caught up in those little things, because that's what you're there for. Like, you have to get through those and keep moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the last item on the list I think you're going to love
Okay.
is listen to positive music, or music that matches your mood. Mm-hmm. You've always had the best playlists. I've always loved the music you play when we go out on the boat or are hanging out.
Yeah.
You're really good at that.
If music is an extension of your mood, then I may have some sort of split personality disorder, because my playlist and music library has everything from Celine Dion to Metallica on it.
I love that.
And it's you never know what's coming out of the speakers either, because it could be Celine Dion or it could be Metallica.
It's always good.
But yeah, for me personally, music's crazy. It's very, very interesting how it can change your attitude and your mood.
Yeah.
For sure.
Driving down the road, listen to a good song.
Yep.
Such a mood booster.
Yep.
Well, Austin, you have done wonderful. I'm so glad that you came on here today.
Is it over?
Yeah.
Oh.
You want to just keep going? You really thought it was 2 hours long?
No, I thought it was at least an hour.
No, we got all the content we need.
Okay. Well,
But I want to I wanted to just say
thanks
thank
for
you.
having me.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming on. Thank you
Yeah.
for the Barn Store for being a partner of Stay
Oh, yeah.
Positive News.
Glad to be here. It's awesome.
We would not be able to do this without your support, and we hope that we can continue to spread positivity together.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Stay positive.